Florence Nightingale is best known as the founder of modern nursing. She was born on May 12, 1820 in Florence, the city she was named after. She was born into a very wealthy family of British descent.
Florence was famous for improving the basic needs of all hospitals. She made hospitals cleaner, helped train nurses, and showed that quality infrastructures help patients. Most of all, she was the nurse that helped soldiers that fought in the Crimean War.
Florence Nightingale's profession in nursing began in 1851, after she underwent 4 months of preparation in Germany at a Christian nursing school for women. Despite the countless objections from her family, Florence Nightingale continued to pursue her dream of becoming a nurse, even though there were various risks and possibilities of social implications.
In 1853, a wealthy friend of Florence requested her to supervise a hospital for invalid gentlewomen. She was not receiving a salary, but she still continued to improve the way the hospital functioned, which resulted in more patients getting cured. Florence soon became the superintendent of this women's hospital in London.
There were many casualties of soldiers during the Crimean War in 1854. Although there were hospitals during this time, there were no nurses, and the nurses who were there were not qualified enough to treat these patients. The Minister of the War told Florence to lead a team of trained nurses to help the wounded fighters.
Florence departed to Turkey with various other nurses to aid the hospitals and their patients in November 4, 1854. The conditions of the hospitals where the injured soldiers were being treated were extremely substandard. Injured men were sleeping in rooms that were overcrowded and filthy, and a lot of the soldiers fell ill with diseases like typhus, cholera, and dysentery. When she and the other nurses arrived, the doctors did not seek any aid from the nurses because they believed that they were neither experienced nor qualified enough. Soon after their arrival, a large battle took place, resulting in many deaths, which altered the doctors' decision. Once the nurses were able to help, Florence worked 20 hours a day, and during the night she would walk around the hospital carrying a lamp, making sure the soldiers were comfortable, and for those who couldn't read and write, she read to them and wrote for them as well, and soon she was nicknamed Lady with the Lamp.
In 1859, she had written a book called Notes for Nursing, which would guide the readers to understand the profession of nursing and all the aspects of it. Due to her hard work over the many years, she fell ill and was bedridden for the last 40 years of her life. Florence established an institution in London to train nurses in the July of 1860. It was called the Nightingale Home and Training School for Nurses. This is one of the first foundations to teach midwifery and nursing as a profession. This training school was devoted to communicating the practice and philosophy of its founder. It's currently part of the King's College in London, known as the Florence Nightingale School of Nursing and Midwifery.
Nightingale became a hero because of the Army Field Hospital that she founded during the Crimean War. Florence observed that more soldiers were dying from diseases compared to injuries and wounds. She came to the conclusion that this was because of overcrowding and malnutrition. The solutions that she suggested were the foundations of modern nursing, which were better sanitation and better ventilation. Florence believed that the health of patients depended on the environmental conditions in which they are recovering from injuries and diseases, as well as the care that they may be receiving. Not only did she take hygiene very seriously, but also the access to natural light and fresh air.
After working so hard by supervising at a hospital, curing countless patients, writing books about nursing, and founding an institution for nurses in training, Florence was bedridden for 40 years and eventually lost her sight in 1901.
In 1907, Florence Nightingale was the first woman to ever receive the Order of Merit due to all her hard work and all the influences she had upon the techniques regarding nursing.
3 years after Florence Nightingale received the Order of Merit, she soon faced her death on August 14, 1910. Florence Nightingale was unexpectedly found dead at her home in London due to a heart failure.
Even long after her death, she is still known as one of the founders and leaders of modern nursing, and her legacy as the Lady with the Lamp continues to this day.
When I am no longer even a memory, just and vain, I hope my voice may perpetuate the great work of my life. hard death, my dear old comrade of Balaclava, and bring them safe to shore. Florence Nightingale.